Alright, so in this next problem, again, you're being asked to write a rule for this linear function, and you're being given that this information is a linear function, so you don't really have to determine if it is or isn't. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually write down slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx plus b, and once you do that, all you really have to do is solve for b, solve for m, find your y-intercept, find your slope, and then you're good. So one way of doing that is taking this information in the table and graphing it on a coordinate plane. Once you graph it on a coordinate plane, use that line to help you determine your slope and your y-intercept. Another way of doing it is just actually looking at the table itself and just trying to find out what y is equal to when x is 0. I don't see a value of 0 for x here, so I'm going to actually try to figure that out, and I'm going to plug a 0 in. So in order to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is just look at the change in y. So what I'm seeing here is from -2 to -8. What I'm doing here is just, and I want to fix that arrow real quick. So from -2 to -8, that's -6. That's a change of, I'm just subtracting 6 here. And again, just subtracting 6 from 4 to -2. Again, I'm subtracting 6. And again, from 10 to 4, I would subtract 6. So that difference here, I'm subtracting 6 to get to the next y value. Another way of thinking about it here though, is I'm seeing here that x is changing by 2 units each time. It's not changing by 1 unit, but by 2 units. So all I really have to do is ask myself, well, if I want to get from 1 to 0, if I were to substitute a 0 in here, well, that's 1 unit rather than 2 units. So that's just subtracting 1 here rather than subtracting 2. So all I really have to do is take half of 6 here, or -6, and that's going to give me the value, my y value. It'd help me find that spot right there, that value that should go in right here for y when x is 0. But just to give myself some more space, what I'm going to do is just extend this line and put 0 down here when x is 0. Well, if I subtract 3 from 4, I know that y is 1, and here is my y-intercept right here. Y is +1, my y-intercept is 1. So now I can rewrite this equation. I can rewrite it as y is equal to mx plus 1. Alright, I'm going to change colors. Alright, so how can I find slope from this point? Well, there's a couple ways I can do it. One, I can use the equation for slope. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so I could use this equation to help me solve for the slope, find m, or I could actually just choose one ordered pair in my table and substitute the values in for x and y in the equation that was just created. And I'm going to try to keep it simple. So the values I'm going to use are 1 for x, 4 for y, and substitute them in. So now I have 4 for y, 4 for, in fact, I want to fix that 4 real quick. So when y is 4, so 4 for y, it's equal to m, my value of m, or my variable m, times x, and x is 1 in this case. So basically m times 1, I'm going to show you just for a visual what it looks like, m times 1, but you really don't need to write this because m times 1 is simply m. You're going to be left with m. So I'm going to just not write that step out and leave it as m plus 1, and now let's go ahead and isolate the variable m. So what I'm going to do from here is subtract 1 from both sides of the equation. These two will cancel out, and 4 minus 1. So 4 minus 1, it's equal to 3, so 3 is equal to m, but I want to lead with the variable. I'm going to rewrite this as m is equal to 3, and I'm going to substitute 3 in for m in this equation right here. Okay, so again, I'm going to substitute 3 in for m in this equation here. So I'm going to rewrite this as y is equal to 3x plus 1. Here's one way of writing a rule for the linear function. So I have a function here. Another way of writing the function, I'm going to rewrite it as f of x. This is function notation, and when you see this symbol, you're just stating that the equation, it's a function. So f of x is equal to, and I want to fix that 3, it's equal to 3x plus 1. So regardless of which way you write it, either one is a rule for the linear function in this table. Cool, I'll see you in another video.